Hey there, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Paint Party live stream. It's so good to have you back in the studio with me this evening. This is episode 131 of the live stream, and it's great to be with you after another week. I hope that wherever you are, it has been a great week and that you survived the changing of the daylight savings time adjustment, I guess. I've felt a little bit off the last day or so, but that usually happens and then adjusts back to more daylight during the day. But that means that spring is here and summer is on its way. So I hope that, again, wherever you are, it was a good week. All right, let's dive in this evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad to have you. I hope that, oh, never mind. I'm just going on the same script, but yeah, like I said, I'm a little off. So yeah, this week I have been working on, I think I mentioned last time that I have been working on some master copies of various paintings, which I won't show online very much because they're copies of other people's work. And it's just to develop my own skill and to push myself as far as style and technique, and to learn as much as I can. I'm starting to do sketches and studies for this collection that I'm doing over the next year. So this last week I've been working on this one. It's just a little quick color sketch of a trail right outside my town, and I just liked the way that the mountains and the trees were sitting off the trail with the snow when I hiked recently. So I did that this week. You may have seen that if you follow me on Instagram. And then I think I showed you all last week, we worked on these. I split these paintings, but they are basically horizontal sketches of a reflective scene, and then another horizontal sketch of just the light and shadow kind of dappled on the snow. So I've been doing a few of these sketches. This helps me kind of get an idea of the types of paintings I want to do for the collection and how they might all fit together. So all the ideas I have, I'm kind of doing these sketches, and yeah, so we're going to do another one of those this evening. Welcome, welcome. I see some more people popping in. This is my Learn to Paint journey. I started teaching myself to paint about 3 years ago now. Actually, this summer will be 4 years. So, because I think it was July of 2020. 2020 was pandemic year. So July of 2020. So yeah, we're coming up on 4 years. And every week I meet you here in my studio to paint for you, with you. However, you can participate in the live stream wherever you're watching us, watching me tonight, in the comments on whatever platform you're on. So I enjoy interacting with you. Feel free to ask questions or make comments there in the comments. All right, let's get started. I just realized that I did not get a palette let me switch over here to, whoops, this, I am upside down. So let's see. Come on, where are the cameras? Why did this change? All my settings changed, so I apologize about that. Let me try to, okay, where are they? I usually have this all set up. All right. This is going to be frustrating. All right, well, I am upside down until I can figure that out. I don't know. Ah, there it is. There we are. All right, so we are right side up again. And let me put up here this is what we're going to be working on, and I'm going to get this switched around so that you can see where my canvas board is going to be. I didn't get one out and I just realized, oh, there's no canvas board on my easel, and so therefore you cannot watch me paint unless I have a canvas. I mean, you could watch me, but there'd be nothing on the okay. All right, let me go over here. Let's do this one as a we'll do an 8x10. Where is it? Okay. Whoa, I am dumping stuff all over. How was y'all's week? I hope it was a good week. Welcome to those of you that are just now popping into the live stream. I said I'm a little off. I've been running all afternoon to meetings and such, so I feel kind of out of or off kilter a little bit. So, all right, there we go. We have palette set up, and then let me go over here. Okay, now this one's upside down. Good grief, there. There we are. Now you are right side up. You can see my palette. Let me take, there's my, all right. All right. And since we're starting this one out, we're going to take a little bit of this first stage. Actually, I'm not going to do that first. I'm going to put on gloves first. That's what I'm going to do. Then we're going to put out some of this medium. Where is my... I should be all prepared. So I apologize. We'll put out some of this medium, and we do that again in 3 stages. Thicker and thicker oil content as we go, so that we have, with oil painting, you want to paint thick over thin layers to avoid the lower layers drying faster than the upper layers and basically cracking the upper layers. So that's why we do that. So this is the first medium, helps the paint to dry and to spread more efficiently and effectively. And let's see. Okay. So what are we trying to do? Okay, we have that. Now want to get a kind of medium brush and start to put in the framework. So I think what I want to do is I want to block in the darkest spots. So I'm going to actually put in some, let's see, this burnt umber dries so quick. So we will scrape that out of there. Put some new in. Everyone's quiet tonight. It must be, I don't know, it's easy to blame things like that on the, could also just be it's a Monday, but it's easy to blame it on the time change when everything feels off. I don't know why we keep changing clocks. I mean, I know why theoretically we do it, but in our industrialized or post-industrial world and economy, I don't know why we still change our clocks back and forward, but is what it is. So I want to, looking at this and knowing what I now know about oils, so we want to block in the large, the darker spots. And so I'm going to mix some brown and some ultramarine blue, kind of make that dark color we do for our shadows, the darkest colors for our shadows. Mix just a tad of medium. Again, with the medium, we don't want any more than 25% medium. So just, in this case, just basically a drop. But it does help the paint mix and smooth out. So I want to start laying in some of these shadow areas. And the trees are going to be so let's say this, let's put him in around there, kind of that. There's going to be, we'll just put some, real thin brush back in there. I don't want to get very thick because, again, if I get too thick back in there, then I can't, the paint is too dry. So, or too wet, sorry. I think that works. We're going to have these branches come over here. And I want to keep this, I want to exaggerate some of this shadow. Because I want the attention coming right in there where that is. So we'll basically bring this shadow down here. And I'm almost dry brushing this. If you can kind of hear or see it's very scratchy. I'm just kind of scratching in some tone on the canvas panel so that it is very, very light layer almost. And the goal is then that this dries faster, but it gives us a sense of this. I want to, want to bring down. I think we're going to make this shadowy, all of this, so that it's very much make it more shadowy. Than some of these other places. That way the light shines out. I'm using part reference, part kind of creative license to let's just put a little bit there. I'm putting the suggestion in again, kind of basically doing a block in. Because then we can see if this works. As in just these, kind of monochromatic tones, then it should indicate that it will work as a color. In this case, we're doing just a color study and a sketch. And then these, I want this to be pretty much solid because I want it to feel like we're standing in kind of the dark woods and there's this spot of light right up ahead. And then, but even though this was actually on a trail and there was, it wasn't really dark around me, I want that feeling of kind of we're closed in the woods and we're looking just down the trail a little bit to the Okay, now we'll make kind of a all right. I think this works. This a little more. All right, what do y'all think? Welcome, those of you that are joining. There's a few more people have popped in. Glad to have you. You can participate like always in the comments wherever you're watching. Hey Bob G, yes, it is. This is from the Homestake Grade Trail, which is just between Lead and Deadwood, right along the mountaintop, right outside town, between the two towns. There used to be a rail line that went, I think, in the 30s, 20s and 30s between the towns, and then now the rail bed is a trail, and I hiked it Saturday, I think it was, and there were some really pretty patterns and shadows in the trees, and so, or in the trail, as far as the sunlight coming through, and I really like these spots here. Well, any place, but since this is the Black Hills, like, there's a lot of these spots where you get light coming through the trees in the forest. I love that feeling of being in the forest and seeing the light through the trees, and so it's a subject that I want to explore more. There we are. We step up the this kind of helps us because the canvas panel does quite a bit of the work for us in that sense. Where it there. Let's do that a little bit, just see. Maybe a mistake, but we'll see. Okay, so that's kind of what I want. Now, I want to go in and identify where my darkest darks are going to be. So it's obviously going to be right along there's going to be this tree that comes in here. It's gonna, and I'm actually gonna let us bring this dark shadow all the way down into some of this. Again, by emphasizing some of this, or maybe even overemphasizing some of the shadow, it pushes us more. And I feel like this should be pretty dark too, like over here, because I really want to frame that. So let's give that tree there's some dark back in here. There's a little bit of a tree we see. Put the canopy in there. There we go. That'll start to give us, we can always add some we'll bring this dark shadow out into here. Oh, I missed it. Hey, Mom. There we go. Bring this shadow further. All right. Now let's, I think we do this. These may not show up, but we'll put them in. Then we can build from there. here, we'll want it a little more dark. You're getting some, I wonder if I can raise this up a bit, because you're getting some reflection. There we go. We're getting some that's what you have to think about. Good pictures do not always make good paintings. And so when I started, I would go look for the best composed pictures I could find, so that I didn't have to really worry too much. But now that I'm wanting to create my own magic, so to speak, you take the very loose or very basic nuts and bolts and then figure out, okay, where do I want to how do I want to create the painting around this? So I think what I want to do is, I mean, I like the white, it stands out the way I want it to, but I think I want to put in the actual kind of golden color of the we'll blend those in. Then we'll go load up the brush again. There. There we go. We'll have to see. All right, that gives us, we may have to put some more of these shadows back in because it kind of they disappear and they bleed into that works, I think. What do you all think? Let's put a little more white on the palette. There. It's a little bit. There. Now there's this kind of almost a reddish that happens at the edges. So if we can I'll have to work on this. It's not quite what I want, but still, this is my lack of skill showing with oil showing. It's blending, but not the way I want. So I really don't know what I'm doing. But that's all right. You have to be willing to be bad at something to get good at it. At least that's what I keep telling myself. And it's true. But when you're bad at it, especially when you know, like I have those thoughts, like maybe I should just go back to acrylics. I know acrylics. I'm comfortable with acrylics. But isn't that life? Pushing beyond our comfort zones to try to learn a new skill or a new anything. It's like okay. problem is this is so similar to what's there that it's hard to see. Okay. Well, there's the lighter trees. Now, wonder if we can get some I love this idea of, but I wonder if I can move it. I mean, I know I can move it. These really bright trees. Wonder if I can put that. This is going to be difficult to do because it's all wet paint. So, but if we can put some of these light colors in, like the sun's coming through here and then it shines maybe a little bit here, but it shines right in there instead of the sun over here. I think it's cool because again it brings our eyes into the painting. It's all orchestrating where we want people to look, isn't it? Oop. Put some additional sap green out there. Okay, we want some sap green, some ultramarine blue probably, maybe a little brown, kind of that dark green. Let's see if we can start putting some of that in. Fairly heavy. Again, because we're a la prima, or wet on wet right now. But there we go. There we go. Now it's starting to do what I want it to do. All of a sudden we're seeing, ooh, there's, our eye is drawn there, isn't it? This might be too much. No, I don't think so. Some of these areas. Reestablishing kind of our dark tones. Pretty thick paint, so we'll see. But it has to be to go wet on wet like that. But oh, now I'm starting to pull paint off the oh, that's really bright then. But this is the feeling I want of kind of that feeling of in the, you know, being back in the woods. I'm gonna have to rework this a little bit. Again, reaching the limit of my ability. I know it's probably frustrating for you all to watch because you see me do things much better, much more effectively and efficiently, especially if you've been watching for any length of time, but I understand your, potentially understand your frustration, especially when it's like, this should be coming out better than it is. I agree, I feel the same. Okay, well, it's not terrible, and it does kind of starts to do what it starts to do what the purpose of these sketches are, to basically, the purpose of these sketches, ooh, that's a lot of glare, isn't it? Is to see, is there a painting here? Is there a painting? Oh, that's even worse. Is there a painting here that I actually want to paint? Oop, sorry. I'm gonna make y'all sick by the end of this. Is there a painting here? Is there a painting that I want to paint? Is there a painting that's actually interesting enough to paint? Oh, that's kind of, maybe if I turn it this way, you get the idea. Cut some of that glare down from overhead. So it's kind of that feeling. Now I'll have to go in and put some more lighter tones because this is obviously during the day. So I'll have to lighten some of this up, but you can tell the brush marks, like it's very tacky, and very wet. And so I don't want to go in and try to put layers on top of this because you just end up pulling the paint that's there off the panel, which is kind of what's here now. It just looks like these are like ocean waves almost because the paint is just blending. So and that's something I'll have to work on. Hey Yogesh, difficult one with shades. Yeah, the shades aren't that difficult. It is what's making it difficult is just that I'm learning oil paints and trying to figure out, I'm learning a brand new medium. So that is the challenge. Because if this was acrylic, I'd wait 2 minutes and this would be dry, and then I could go in and put more detail and I could immediately fix things that I didn't like. I could try things, where here I have to try it, and then if it doesn't work, I have to, like this, I tried to start to fix some of this and adjust the values, because obviously this got darker, then this looks a lot brighter. But I can't really touch this because it's all wet paint still, and it has to dry, and then the next layer can be applied. But I am learning, and I am learning. It feels like not very fast, but I know it's not as slow as it feels. Then I will be able to come in, and I know that even in the way I approached this painting, it was a little bit different than previous ones. And if you begin to see, okay, what stages and what steps I need to do. So basically the first stage is block in. I've done the block in, a little bit of modeling, brought a little color in, but the next phase will really be breaking down this big dark chunk and this light chunk and this dark chunk into smaller chunks, essentially, that then read as more detail. So yeah, that's the deal. Okay. Take care. Have a good one. Sounds good. I will be back in Little Rock in April for a day or two, so perhaps we can catch up then. Yeah, I'm just going to start taking paint off, so don't want to do that. I think this is happening often. I'll have to think this through, but I have reached the limit of my skill for this one. So I think I'm gonna hold off, let this dry overnight, and then come back and do some of this work. Yeah. I think that's a good plan. Yep. Nope. The more I try to, I'm like, oh, I'll just do this little thing, and I'm just so used to doing that with acrylic, and that's not how that works. So, but I will clean out this brush. I do like the texture that I'm building into the painting with these. You can see, especially, I guess that's the advantage of the overhead glare, is you see the texture in the brush strokes, which I do like that part of it. But we'll let this one dry, and then we'll come back to it. Plus today's kind of just a, I don't know if you all are feeling it either also, but I just feel like a little off. I have felt that way most of the day, but it's just, there's no reason to feel off. I don't necessarily feel sad or depressed or anything, just off. That's it, just off. And I think it's, at least I feel that it is because of the time change. That's what my brain wants to believe, at least. All right, well, you can see, I guess you guys don't need to see my cleanup process, but this is it. I hear, or I've heard, artists that just leave their brushes in thinner or in mineral spirits between paint things and don't actually clean them. I think it's just left over from the acrylic process that I do rinse mine brushes, and usually I just use one or two brushes per, because I used the same brush tonight. The whole time was the same little like half-inch brush, but I rinse them in vaporless mineral spirits, or a mineral spirit. It's not actually, it's a odorless, kind of an odorless turpentine, odorless mineral spirits. And so, yeah. And then I coat them in Dawn dish detergent, the brush, and this I'm just using Windex on this glass just to cut the oil, but I coat the brush in Dawn dish detergent, and that helps to keep it overnight, helps to keep it conditioned a little bit, and then I rinse it in the morning. So that's the deal. That's what I do. You get to see some of the behind the scenes, I guess. All right. Now let me switch cameras again. I guess I could have switched you back to this camera to while I was scrubbing you could have still seen my process. You didn't have to be looking at the painting, but I want to flip this around, say a proper good night to you. I hope that you have a great week. I'm going to continue working on these master studies or master copies, as well as these sketches. That's my goal for the next several, probably next month or two, is really do as many sketches as I can of these potential paintings for the collection that I'm doing. So if you're interested in that, you can follow me, Instagram, stevenerice.com. So let me hold this up. You can kind of see with, maybe I can get it. All right, that's with minimal glare. So you can see that this is really dark up in here. So I'll have to come back and then cut that up with some highlights. But I don't want to get them too bright where then it draws our eye from the center of interest here up into the trees. So I want to keep this really dense forest and then keep our eye drawn into the painting. So I think that's pretty effective for the first attempt, first layer. And then I showed you at the beginning, if you all dialed in late, this is one I've been working on the last couple days. It was just a quick sketch of the trail outside my town, and I just liked the way the trail was there in front of those mountains and the snow cover recently. Snow's all gone now, but so I'm doing a lot of those little that's weird. I don't know what size that is. I assumed it was an 8x10, but it's not. It's a 5x7 maybe? No. 7x9 must be. Yep, 7x9. Okay. I didn't even know I had 7x9. Maybe those ones over there. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted. These are the kind of sketches I'm doing, and I'm just doing a bunch of them because my goal is to get like probably 15, 20, 30 of these, and then from those and actually going through the process of painting them, determine which I want to actually turn into full paintings for the collection. So that's kind of the process, at least, that I'm going through. I don't know what other process there is, or I'm just kind of developing it as I go. So that being said, yeah, I hope you have a great week. I hope you have a good evening. And we will be back next Monday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, hope you all have a great week, and I'll see you next time.